Respect is not something that can be demanded. It must be earned. In relationships, especially between men and women, respect forms the foundation for trust, love, and lasting connection. Yet, many women struggle to establish this essential respect because they overlook one powerful truth. People treat you based on the boundaries you set. Without clear, firm boundaries, it becomes easy for others to take you for granted, to push limits, and to blur the lines between affection and control. Boundaries are not about building walls or creating distance. They are about defining how you expect to be treated. They are a reflection of your self-worth and the standards you hold for your life. When you set strong, healthy boundaries, you silently communicate that you value yourself, and in turn, others begin to value you. For men, this clarity of self-respect naturally commands admiration and respect. It tells them that you are not someone who can be manipulated, disrespected, or undervalued. In this speech, we will explore 5 essential boundaries that not only protect your well-being, but also compel men to respect you more. These boundaries cover your emotional world, communication style, time and space, core values, and physical presence. By mastering these areas, you will create stronger, more fulfilling relationships. Built on mutual respect and understanding, respect doesn't come from being agreeable or accommodating. It comes from standing firm in who you are. Let's dive into how setting these 5 boundaries can transform how men perceive and treat you, ultimately empowering you to build healthier, more meaningful connections. 1. Emotional boundaries, protecting your emotional well-being. Establishing emotional boundaries is the foundation of self-respect and a key factor in earning respect from others, particularly men in relationships. Emotional boundaries define how you allow others to engage with your feelings and how much emotional energy you invest in others. Without these boundaries, you risk becoming emotionally drained, overly dependent, or vulnerable to manipulation. A woman who understands her emotional needs and expresses them without guilt sends a clear message. Her emotional world is valuable and deserves respect. This doesn't mean being cold or distant. It means recognizing when to give and when to step back to protect your mental and emotional state. Emotional independence creates a sense of stability that naturally commands respect. When a man sees that a woman is not easily swayed by emotional highs and lows, he understands that her emotional well-being is not his to control or disrupt. One critical aspect of emotional boundaries is managing how much emotional labor you take on in a relationship. Women often find themselves in the role of emotional caretakers, absorbing, managing, and soothing their partner's emotions. While emotional support is vital in any relationship, it must be balanced. Continuously prioritizing someone else's feelings over your own can lead to burnout and resentment. And that by setting limits on how much emotional energy you expend, you teach others to be accountable for their emotions. Emotional boundaries involve recognizing manipulative behaviors and refusing to engage with them. Guilt-tripping, silent treatments, or emotional outbursts designed to control your reactions are red flags. Standing firm against these tactics requires strength, but protecting your emotional well-being empowers you to engage in relationships from a place of strength, not neediness. Men inherently respect women who are emotionally self-reliant because it signals maturity and inner security. It shifts the dynamic from one of emotional dependence to mutual support, fostering healthier, more balanced connections. 2. Communication boundaries. Clear and assertive expression. Effective communication is one of the most powerful tools for establishing respect in any relationship. When a woman speaks with clarity and assertiveness, she communicates not only her thoughts and feelings, but also her sense of self-worth. Clear communication boundaries set the standard for how others should interact with you. making it clear that your voice matters and your needs are non-negotiable. Assertive communication is not about being aggressive or confrontational. It's about expressing your thoughts, feelings, and expectations honestly and respectfully. Many women fall into the habit of softening their words to avoid conflict or to be more likable. However, constantly diluting your voice can lead to misunderstandings and diminished respect. When you speak directly and confidently, you signal that you value yourself and expect others to do the same. A key component of communication boundaries is the ability to say no without feeling the need to over-explain or apologize. Saying no is a complete sentence. When you feel compelled to justify every decision, you inadvertently invite negotiation over your boundaries. Men respect women who can set limits with confidence because it shows self-assurance and decisiveness. Listen, whether it's declining a favor, refusing last-minute plans, or standing by a personal decision, your ability to assert your boundaries teaches others that your time and choices deserve respect. Equally important is recognizing and addressing manipulative or passive-aggressive communication. If a man uses sarcasm, guilt-tripping, or avoidance to sidestep accountability, it's crucial to call it out calmly and directly. Ignoring these behaviors can create a dynamic where disrespect becomes normalized. Addressing them head-on sends a strong message. You expect mature, honest communication in your relationships. And being comfortable with silence can also be a powerful boundary. Not every situation requires a response, and sometimes choosing not to engage is a form of setting a boundary. It prevents unnecessary conflict and protects your emotional energy. By mastering assertive communication, you establish yourself as a person who demands and commands respect. Men are naturally drawn to women who are clear about their needs and boundaries, because it creates a relationship dynamic built on mutual understanding and accountability. This clarity eliminates confusion and fosters a deeper, more authentic connection. 3. Time and space boundaries. Valuing your own time. Respect begins with how you value your own time. When you prioritize your personal goals, self-care, and downtime, you naturally teach others to respect your schedule and presence. Time and space boundaries are essential because they reflect how much you value yourself and your life outside of any relationship. Men are more likely to respect a woman who has a full, meaningful life of her own because it signals independence, purpose, and self-discipline. Many women fall into the trap of always being available, canceling plans, rearranging schedules, or sacrificing personal time to accommodate others. While being supportive is important, consistently neglecting your own needs sends the message that your time is less valuable. When you overextend yourself, it often leads to burnout and resentment. Establishing time boundaries means recognizing that your personal time is just as important as anyone else's and should be guarded accordingly. This includes dedicating time to your passions, hobbies, career, and self-care routines. A woman who invests in her own growth and happiness shows that her identity is not solely tied to her relationships. This independence fosters respect because it demonstrates that you are a complete individual with your own goals and interests. It also creates a healthy dynamic where both partners contribute to the relationship rather than one person sacrificing their individuality. Equally important is setting boundaries around your physical space. Whether it's needing time alone to recharge or having personal areas that are off limits, protecting your space is crucial. Some men may unconsciously test these boundaries, pushing for more of your time and attention. Responding with firmness and grace by explaining your need for personal space establishes a standard of mutual respect. Another critical aspect of time boundaries is not allowing others to monopolize your energy. If someone continuously disrupts your plans or expects you to be constantly available, it's important to address it directly. Politely, but firmly, expressing that your time is scheduled and must be respected, shows that you are intentional about how you live your life. By valuing your own time and space, you model how others should treat you. Men naturally respect women who have a life they are committed to and who do not compromise their goals for temporary validation. This balance of independence and connection fosters a relationship dynamic built on admiration and mutual respect. 4. Respect for values and principles. Standing firm in beliefs. One of the most powerful ways to command respect from men, and from anyone, is by standing firm in your values and principles. Your values are the core beliefs that shape how you view the world and how you choose to live. They define your sense of right and wrong, your goals, and your personal standards. When you clearly understand and uphold these values without compromise, you create an unshakable foundation of self-respect that naturally earns the respect of others. Men are instinctively drawn to women who know who they are and what they stand for. This kind of inner strength is magnetic because it reflects maturity, self-awareness, and integrity. It shows that you are not easily swayed by external pressures or fleeting emotions. So, in a world where people often compromise their beliefs to gain approval, a woman who remains true to herself stands out. She becomes someone whose respect must be earned, not given freely. Setting boundaries around your values means knowing your non-negotiables and enforcing them consistently. For example, if honesty is a core principle for you, you should not tolerate dishonesty in any form, whether it's small lies or major betrayals. If loyalty is important, you won't entertain relationships with people who play games or are inconsistent. These standards are not about being rigid or judgmental, but about protecting your well-being and surrounding yourself with people who align with your principles. It's common for people, including men, to test boundaries, sometimes unconsciously, to see how far they can go. This is why it's crucial to recognize when someone challenges your beliefs or tries to pressure you into compromising your values. If a man disrespects your boundaries or dismisses your standards, how you respond in those moments will determine whether he respects you. Standing firm without anger or defensiveness communicates that your values are non-negotiable and that you will not be swayed by manipulation or charm. Being consistent in your principles builds trust. A woman whose actions align with her words earns more respect than one who constantly changes her stance to please others. This consistency shows that you have thought deeply about who you are and what matters to you. It also signals emotional stability and maturity, qualities that men respect and admire. It's also important to respect the values of others while standing by your own. You don't need to agree with everyone, but showing understanding and openness without compromising your core beliefs demonstrates emotional intelligence. This balance of firmness and empathy makes you approachable yet strong, fostering deeper connections built on mutual respect. Upholding your principles leads to healthier relationships. When you clearly communicate your standards and enforce them, you attract people who share similar values. This alignment reduces conflict and misunderstandings, creating a more harmonious relationship dynamic. Men respect women who elevate the relationship by encouraging accountability and shared growth. Standing firm in your values is not about being inflexible, but about being authentic. It's about knowing what you deserve and refusing to settle for less. Men respect women who have the courage to live by their principles because it reflects strength, confidence, and self-respect. This kind of woman doesn't need to demand respect. It's given to her naturally. 5. Physical and intimacy boundaries. Control over your body and space. One of the most fundamental and powerful ways to earn a man's respect is by setting clear physical and intimacy boundaries. These boundaries are essential because they safeguard your sense of safety, comfort, and personal agency. They communicate that your body is your own and that your physical presence is not something to be taken lightly or disrespected. When you assert control over how, when, and with whom you share physical closeness, you naturally command respect from others, especially men. Physical boundaries involve much more than just intimacy. They include how you allow people to enter your personal space, how you handle physical touch, and how you expect others to respect your comfort levels. For instance, if a man touches you in a way that makes you uncomfortable, whether it's a lingering hand on your shoulder or an unwanted hug, you have every right to speak up or step back. Setting that boundary immediately signals that you are in control of your space. It sends a clear message: your comfort and safety come first. In romantic relationships, intimacy boundaries are crucial. Many women feel pressured to move faster physically than they are comfortable with, often out of fear of losing a man's interest. However, when you confidently set boundaries around physical intimacy, it actually fosters greater respect. A man who is truly interested in you will respect your pace and appreciate your self-respect. Rushing into physical intimacy to keep someone interested rarely leads to genuine respect. Conversely, taking control of when and how intimacy progresses builds a foundation of mutual understanding and admiration. And it's also important to communicate these boundaries directly and confidently. You don't need to justify or explain why you're setting a boundary. Your comfort is reason enough. Whether it's deciding when you're ready to be physically intimate or establishing how much affection you're comfortable with in public, being direct shows that you value your own well-being over external validation. Men respect women who can clearly articulate their needs and who do not waver under pressure. Physical boundaries also extend to everyday interactions. For example, you might need to set limits on how often someone can drop by uninvited, or how close someone stands when talking to you. These small but significant boundaries reinforce that your personal space deserves respect. By consistently maintaining these limits, you create an environment where people understand how to engage with you respectfully. Protecting your physical boundaries reinforces emotional boundaries. Often, physical and emotional boundaries are deeply connected. Allowing someone to invade your physical space can lead to emotional discomfort, while respecting your physical boundaries strengthens emotional security. This balance cultivates healthier, more respectful relationships. Enforcing physical boundaries isn't about creating distance, it's about establishing trust. When a man sees that you honor your body and your space, it teaches him to do the same. It lays the groundwork for a relationship built on mutual respect rather than entitlement. Your body and personal space are sacred, and it's your right to decide how they are treated. By setting and enforcing strong physical and intimacy boundaries, you send a powerful message. You respect yourself, and you expect others to do the same. This self-respect is undeniable, and men who recognize this will respect you, not because they have to, but because they truly admire your strength and confidence. And respect is the foundation of every meaningful relationship, and it begins with how you treat yourself. When you establish and maintain firm boundaries, you don't just protect your well-being, you elevate your entire presence. You become someone who is grounded, self-aware, and unapologetic about your worth. This self-respect radiates outward, commanding the respect of men and anyone else you encounter. Let's be clear, setting boundaries is not about creating conflict or pushing people away. It's about defining the standards by which you live your life and inviting only those who are willing to meet those standards. It's about knowing that your emotions are valid, your time is valuable, your beliefs are non-negotiable, and your body is yours alone. It's about recognizing that you are not responsible for managing anyone else's feelings at the expense of your own, and understanding that real respect comes from mutual understanding, not from self-sacrifice. When a woman protects her emotional health, speaks with clarity and confidence, prioritizes her time, stands firm in her principles, and safeguards her body and space, she becomes undeniably powerful. Men notice this strength. and it draws a clear line between those who are worthy of your presence and those who are not. The men who respect these boundaries are the ones who will contribute to your growth, not hinder it. Understand that not everyone will like your boundaries. Some will challenge them, some will try to push past them, and some may even walk away because they can't benefit from your lack of self-protection. Let them. Your boundaries are not meant to please everyone. They are meant to filter out those who do not deserve a seat at your table. You deserve relationships where you are valued, not tolerated. You deserve interactions where your voice is heard, not dismissed. And you deserve to be in spaces where your presence is appreciated, not taken for granted. These outcomes are only possible when you consistently honor yourself through the boundaries you set. The truth is, boundaries are a form of self-love. They require courage, consistency, and self-awareness. But with them comes a powerful transformation, not only in how you view yourself, but in how others view you. You will no longer feel the need to chase respect, because it will come naturally. Men will recognize your value, not because you demand it, but because you embody it. So let them tell the world that you are a woman of strength, dignity, and purpose. Let them draw in people who are capable of loving and respecting you the way you deserve. And most importantly, let them remind you every day that you are enough, just as you are, worthy of respect, love, and every good thing life has to offer.